Welcome to my latest pick a card we're using based on the poll results from my Instagram. This beautiful vintage 70s Lenormand deck, written and created well before the time of Love and Light, as you will hear when I give you this information. So the cards from this era pack a punch, really. I'm going to interpret the information as it comes through me. That may not necessarily be true to the exact correlation of the cards, but I will tell you where I get my insight from, basically, for each pile. So in a moment, what I want you to do is just tune into your higher self or your guides. Ask to be guided to a pile that is the best information for you to get right now, and then just be open to whatever vibes with you. You don't have to take on anything you don't connect with, but certainly take on what feels right for you at this time, and I hope it's really enjoyable. One last thing before you move on in this pick a card. I've been mentioning on my socials that I really wanted to do a anonymous reading every now and again on YouTube, which I'm calling Dear Honeys, because if you come to me, you're called Honey and Honey Pie a lot. I'm constantly saying it. It's a really bad habit of mine. But if you go onto my Insta bio link, you can scroll down and find a section where you can pop in your anonymous questions, which means I'll do a reading from time to time on any anonymous question that you have for me. Make sure you create a pseudonym, which means like a funny name that you might make up for yourself, and a little title, so when you'd like read the columns in magazines, it used to be like the querent was maybe lovesick, and they might write about some sort of love tryst or love triangle that they're in or something like that. So feel free to pop it in my website, and as I'm called to, I will do these anonymous readings and post them on my YouTube. So I really want them to be super anonymous so that it's blind to me, so that I am not getting too much information from you. It will be a really good test of my skills. Okay, so let's get into the pick a card. Okay, so in Lenormand cards, you read from a pile of cards rather than just one card. It's not like tarot in that way. It's about reading the combination of cards. So I've chosen 3 there from guidance piles that I'm going to read for you. You've got the little sun icon, the blessing icon in the middle for the card 2, and the rings icon for the card 3. So just choose the first pile, the second pile, and the third pile, and then watch on for all the insights. Okay, so pile 1, we've got our key card being card 33. It's the card, whoop, that was pretty funny, the card of the key. And so basically this card, when I read it, really talks about unlocking a part of yourself that feels like it's been withheld. What is most interesting when you do Lenormand divination is the cards that fall around it will give you clarity. And we have 2 very interesting cards coming around this key card, which is the key card, which is the significator, I guess you could call it. We have the letter and we have the snake. So there's a duality in this collection of cards for me. The snake is a card that, as it sounds, the serpent, can sometimes be interpreted as people around you who are possibly deceptive or have betrayed you or are showing their true colors. And right now, at the moment, because of the playing out of a lot of different astrology and energy and the shifts and changes that are going on the planet, we are moving into different soul groups, and we are getting a lot of awakenings and understandings. And this is what we're seeing here with this serpent card. It could be someone showing their true colors, perhaps some sort of toxic or negative relationship or connection that you've started to see for what it is. And when we have clarity about these relationships, we don't need to pathologize that person. We can leave that person up to their perhaps level of awareness or whatever consciousness that they want to be in. That's for them. We're all on our own path. When this shows up, it can mean that suddenly we've understood a toxic culture, environment, relationship situation, or even friendship that's not to be trusted, or that we can start to protect ourselves from or move away from. And the key is a very positive card for me sitting beside this. The way I want to interpret this is we've figured out basically how to deal with the energy bully, how to put boundaries up and protect ourselves. And the letter is an interesting card because the letter is very much around compassion, it's around sentiment, and it's around communication. So it's saying, you know what, I can compassionately and sensitively and with integrity and respect address my needs and communicate what is okay or not okay for me in relationships, particularly if it is someone that has betrayed our trust or done something that we're not okay with. This is a time my guides are talking about as a time where the meek are inheriting the earth, as Christ once said. So many spiritual sensitives are stepping into places of power, and that is requiring them to have uncomfortable conversations of boundary setting and communicating what they are not got to put up with any longer, or what doesn't work for them any longer. These are people that normally would be pretty shy, but they're asserting themselves. So this card says to me that you are currently overcoming a hurdle of communication with people who may perhaps betray your trust or overstep the mark in some way, or perhaps that you've had an awakening or an understanding on where to put your energy and who to trust. And this is a very positive thing because you're stepping up your awareness of your own power. You're protecting your power, your magic, and you're looking after your interests and needs. So spiritual sensitive, stay with that path. Be strong and know that you can communicate in a conscious way what you need, and you can sit with what's coming up and just notice how perhaps previous fears that have kept you quiet when you normally would just, perhaps step back or step aside or be quiet or not stand up for yourself. Just notice how those tendencies to sabotage yourself are dropping away in this very organic way, and that you are protecting yourself from danger, that you are stepping out of danger. The dual reference that I made earlier is that this is also a time energetically where we are moving from the third dimensional reality to the fifth. And so a group of beautiful guide beings I've been working with very closely this entire year are essentially from the etheric realm, from the fifth dimensional realm. The etheric realm is essentially the fairy realm. It's the realm of the fairies. And they really inhabit from the fourth to the sixth dimensional reality, and they are very much talking to me about an earth healing that's happening. This full moon we've just been through and we are still processing has in the backdrop had a lot of cosmic weather activity, solar flares, changes to the Schumann resonance, which is the heartbeat of the earth. That's been kicking up for quite some time, but it is an indicator of the energy channels of the earth, the chakras of the earth, and the dragon lines or ley lines of the earth being reactivated at this time. And because of that, a lot of dormant energy in that Fey realm is being activated. The earth is being cleansed and cleared. And so spiritual sensitives may find themselves doing lots of work with clearing toxicity. So for me, as a spirit healer and seeress, that has required me to be doing some hectic, almost exorcisms these last fortnight for clients. I've dealt with many malevolent spirits that I've been clearing for clients I won't go into too much of that. I'm about to launch and have developed a beautiful, beautiful clearing spray that you'll be able to access from me, that I have used to keep my energy clear as I'm doing all of this upgrade work. So if you chose this pile, it also may be talking about kicking some habits out of your life that have been draining your energy resources, perhaps things that you have just naturally felt a need to move beyond. So this also could be overcoming habits of toxic communication pathways. It could be avoiding gossipy situations or lower vibrating situations, maybe doing a detox within your aura. All of our auras are being upgraded at this point in time. Many people are having spontaneous eruptions of their gifts turning on, and the earth is being cleansed of very long-held old energies that need to be moved on, I guess, for us to inhabit a higher state of being, which is the 5D consciousness that we're moving into. We're all doing that in our own way and in different times. So another part of this may be just getting past some, doing some deep inner healing. We need to remember that the serpent is a symbol of healing and transmutation. So this could be a sign that you are clearing out discarnate energies, lower vibrating energies from your field. And that could be through energetic work you're doing, healing that you're doing, different detoxes or health situations you're undertaking, movement therapy, anything that you're doing to help yourself. I hope that speaks to you, and all the very best with that process. Pile 2. Okay. This, the signifier card is the card number 6 here, which is the clouds, and it's talking to uncertainty. This card represents confusion, uncertainty, and the cards beside it are all very much cards that speak to feeling a bit stuck, a bit anchored, a bit stagnant, and perhaps, transmuting and moving through some actual emotional pain blocks. So as I mentioned in the earlier divination, we're all going through a practice of lightening our frequency in order to inhabit this higher consciousness level. This is something that anybody on the planet who is here right now has elected to do, to be a part of this conscious uprising that's happening as we move into the age of Aquarius, the higher frequencies of the fifth dimensional reality. And so with this pile, I got a very clear sense of encouraging those of you that chose it, just to honor, if you feel that you have been feeling a little bit stagnant or stuck, it's because you're being encouraged to sit with some challenging circumstances from your past and present. Specifically, I did get that some of you may be going through relational challenges, heart healing, heart pain coming out, and even maybe relational endings. So what I would say is that the land that we've inhabited, the situation we've inhabited at this point in time, thanks to all of the cosmic shifts that we've been going through, is very different from what we were incarnating into in the beginning of our lifetime. So many people are making very groundbreaking choices and changes. We're moving in and out of situations that no longer serve us. And for that reason, we are needing to process some pain. This is a card that says that if that's what it feels like for you right now, either that things have stopped or at a standstill, or if you're feeling like you're waiting for things to surface, you're having to start again, to just be very patient. This time of change means that divine timing is a huge part of what we're experiencing. And I have been talking about this retethering process for a really long time. If you're not connected to my online spiritual self-care and healing portal called The Practice, or you're not on my socials watching on, then you may not have heard it. But what my guides are calling this time is they're calling it the retethering process. What they mean by that is relinking into the Earth's frequency, the Earth matrix, and basically from that point kind of resetting the path that we're on now with a lot more options and a lot more choices and free will available to us. So if you're feeling stuck, do not fret because it's just saying that the timing is not yet right for what you're going to manifest. It's coming. And for me, it's going to take at least 2 to 3 months longer for us all to properly re-access the earth energy that's upgraded since 2020 and recenter ourselves on our path. And the more stuck you tend to feel, often the better the outcome can be. So this is a time to learn how to be still, to embrace your capacity to sit in a compassionate way with yourself. In fact, as I was talking about earlier, I've been doing a lot of work crossing energies over to the light, doing a lot of clearing of lower vibrating entities, disincarnate energies, etc. And when my guides help me to do that, they basically ask me to sit in a place of deep, deep compassion. And so this is the same for negative feelings. When we sit in a place of deep love and compassion for the pain, for the suffering, it passes quicker. We move out of the stagnancy quicker, but we have to be in this full place of radical acceptance of all that comes with it. And at the moment, many of us are being shown the pain and the sorrows, whether it's from this lifetime or previous lifetimes, that we can't rush through, that we need to make sense of in order to make our future path so much brighter. So see this as a time, particularly since we've gone through this scorpionic full moon, of going within for deep healing. And so I got a bit cut off there, but if we think about the key card being that sense of sort of a lack of certainty or not knowing where we're going, that doesn't necessarily need to be a negative thing for you right now. It's just that the fog is lifting. So don't make any rash decisions. This full moon we've just gone through in Scorpio is actually about retreating within. And there was a square to Saturn, whose impact is still being felt, which is all about understanding the timing of things. So those of you that chose this pile likely have timing sequences and timing issues coming up for you. Sometimes it feels like we're waiting forever for the things that we want, but I've found that the longer I wait for something that I want to manifest, the better it is. So just sit with your patience, sit with any pain that shows up, and know that on the other side of the clouds is this beautiful, bright future that is awaiting you. It won't be very much longer, but sit with that perhaps lack of direction, the void, as they call it, the cosmic creative space. Sit with any blocks that are there and let yourself for the next 2 to 3 months just be, more understanding of where you are. I hope that helps and speaks to you, and I hope you are blessed with lots of comfort and patience during this time. Okay, so pile number 3. This was a super interesting pile because I got really clear information to deliver. The signifying card was the card 34, which is the card of the fishes, and it's the resources. And then around it were 2 cards. We have the rod there and the whip. And we also have the ship. And my guide spoke to me about this being a time of plenty in your career, or what your soul mission is, your soul mission coming to fruition, perhaps some really good energy coming your way. Maybe it's a clarity around your soul mission, some opportunities around that, career opportunities showing up, or really stepping into your success within that soul purpose, soul mission space. Now, remember, soul mission doesn't necessarily mean that it's about entrepreneurship or, being a healer or psychic or whatever. It doesn't have to have a specific title to it. Plenty of mums and dads and people that I see that look after people and care for people and are not monetarily rewarded for what they do are fulfilling their soul mission. It can be just being on the right path. What this speaks to was very interesting. We could define this as perhaps stepping into the limelight and then the consequences of that, which my guides were calling professional jealousy. So there may be some of you feeling perhaps your star rising, and the experience of people who are perhaps maybe having to sort out stuff in their life, watching on and seeing you and feeling somewhat that they are unable to have that same level of success that you're having, or that there's this Midas touch you have in this part of your world that they simply can't have. It can be something like that. So this will often crop up for clients perhaps when they've been promoted or they've had incredible business opportunities come their way. Even with pregnancies, I've seen it happen where in families and friendship groups, if someone falls pregnant and other people around them haven't, and they, for whatever reason, are feeling like they can't get in touch with that capacity, then it can mean that oracally we're tuning into some negativity that is coming from that other person not realizing their own power of success. Okay, jealousy is a beautiful emotion when we truly understand it. I know that probably sounds weird to say, but whenever I have moments of envy and jealousy, I stop and I ask myself, what is it that this other person has that I think I can't? Why do I think I can't? Because there's this real opportunity when we recognize that to see, actually, this is something I can have. I've just got this idea that it's not available to me for whatever reason. So it gives you a real understanding of the potential that you have to change a limiting belief. On the other side of jealousy, when we receive jealousy, it just means that there are people watching what you're doing, understanding the innate gifts that you have, the timing being right for you, the Midas touch falling out, and it's them believing that they don't have that same capacity. But when we find the right place for us to be with our skill set, with our soul mission, sometimes that takes time, there'll be no challenge to it coming to us. It usually just flows. So this is, for me, an understanding and a recognition of the climbing and the work you've been doing behind the scenes. There's that lovely quote about overnight successes taking a lifetime. And if you speak to any overnight success, they'll say, yeah, you didn't see the 10, 15, 12 years that I was working away on this achievement. You just saw the end result. So I feel like Spirit is saying to you, congratulations, you've worked so hard. You're coming to a level of completion and success in an area of your life. And there may be other people watching, wondering how you do that. And that's okay. We send them blessings. Whenever I feel that professional or jealousy or any sort of personal jealousy around me, I just send that person or that energy blessings and open up to the potential of power for that person to inhabit. So part of working with this is first to acknowledge we're human beings, we're discerning, right? This love and light bullshit, it's so lovely, but the reality is human beings are meant to discern, that we're meant to have this sort of egoic experience in the real world. And sometimes we will think negative things, and spiritual sensitives can tune into that, and we can be affected by that. We don't have to be affected by it, but we can. Particularly if we've experienced a lot of trauma, if we're really hyper empathic, where we take on the energy of others to feel safe, if we've grown up in an environment where we had to really limit ourselves or check ourselves in order to survive that. So what I tend to do when this comes up for me is shake it off, literally. Shake it off. Here I am becoming aware that I'm making myself small because I'm worried that someone else might be affected by that. And I'm going to remember we're all very powerful. I don't have to be frightened of stepping into my power, and I can perceive other people stepping into theirs and be happy for them, be rejoicing for them and them having their own blessings and having their own power. So it's a little bit of a mental reset that can happen. If you do sense this, you do have to, just accept it. It's not a negative thing to accept that there may be some of this lower vibrating energy around you for whatever progress you've made in your life, no matter how small that may be, or no matter how inconsequential it may feel to you. This may be an area where someone feels under-resourced. Remember, this card is all about resources. So what we're doing is we're recognizing our resources don't have to be limited by others, and their resources are actually not unlimited either. We all have unlimited resources. We've all got unlimited universal abundance. And we're recalling that we've come in to experience that. So yeah, do yourself a little ritual of cleansing out, sending blessings to others, sending blessings to yourself, reasserting your own sovereignty, your power, your own personal power, and your own safety to inhabit that power. And also just take a deep breath and enjoy that you have been working hard. Recognize the hard work you've put into this area of your life that's coming to fruition. I wish you every blessing with that area of your life and beyond. So thank you so much for tuning in. As I said, every now and again, as I'm called to, I love to do these little picker cards. I love hearing feedback from you about what resonated and how you made sense of it. If you would like to submit an anonymous question for reading, just have a little look at the comments below in my YouTube, or go to my bio on Instagram and click my link in my bio. And if you scroll down, you'll see the Hey Honeys segment where you can click on that, scroll down the page and enter in your anonymous query, and basically as I'm guided, I will submit those and post those up. I hope you're going really well in the wake of this full moon. It's been very deep healing time. There's been a lot of ungrounding. Remember that Taurus season, this earth sign, the beginning of our retethering process, it's a fixed earth sign, is really asking us what we want. And the Scorpio full moon that we've just gone through is saying, what do I need to let go of so I can have what I want? So sometimes this period can feel a bit murky, or like there's a lot of clearing out to do and a lot of resetting to do. And if you need help with that, simply join the practice. I have a very special offer at the moment for Mother's Day that you can get a quarterly access. That's a 3-month access at a heavily reduced price for yourself or your mum, or some other nurturing person in your world. I wouldn't really even know if it was your mum or not, so you'd be totally fine to do it. So click the link in my bio or follow the link in my YouTube here to access that, and I look forward to connecting with you online. Namaste.